If you're in a divorce and things aren't settled, and if things are going to go south, you got to be very careful with risk management, with how things look. And if you just react when you're in that state without pausing, without taking time to reflect, that in the moment text, email, call, voicemail, whatever you do, it may not look good later on. Welcome to Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind. I'm Corey Shapiro. The goal of this podcast is to help you make better decisions before you can't unmake them, before the decisions you make may blow up your divorce, may really negatively impact your life, your children's lives. I'm getting to you as early as possible. I'm a divorce lawyer in my day job. People come to me generally a little too late. So I'm coming to you early in the process to help you. And today we're focusing on this time when we're so activated. And I want to give you some thoughts about being, so flooded, so activated, so want to do something, even if you feel justified. And you will feel justified to do something because your spouse or soon-to-be ex probably going to piss you off. But we play the long game. So that's what we're focusing on today. So let me give you some definitions so we're just on the same page. We have activation. That's where you're in the fight and flight mode. It's okay to be in that mode. We're all in that mode. Let's talk about being the operator, which is my term for being reactive, being short-term thinking, acting when it feels good, but it might not be good long-term. Then the architect. That's the vision planning. That's getting to step 3. Step 1 is what this podcast really is about. Get clarity. Step 2 is get going. Step 3 is get your life back. I want you to think of this as like, it's always sunny. I always think it's always sunny, and then the clouds is getting away. And that's what's happening. The clouds are in the way. But if we remove those clouds, it's sunny. All right, so think about that. Architect, operator, activation. And let me give you an example of what I see. Because it's not always a big activation. Sometimes it's just a mild annoyance that turns into something big because of the history. And what I've seen sometimes is parents are very aligned when they're together. And let's say some issue I see is, I'm just thinking about movies. So if you have younger children, maybe you have a policy where you don't bring children to PG-13 movies. That's just not something you do in the house. And maybe because when you were younger, you grew up in maybe a violent home. And you really want the opposite. And you want no video games of violence, no movies of violence, nothing violence. That's what you want. And your spouse agreed with you. So there was no PG-13 movies, no violent video games, and that's what happened for years. But then when you start the divorce process, and you might be living in 2 homes, not yet divorced, just separated, and you're working on a temporary parenting plan. So sometimes the children are with you, sometimes they're with the other parent. And are they going to follow the rules that you and your family always adhere to? Are they going to follow that? And the answer is not necessarily. And let's say you learn that the other parent took the children to a PG-13 movie, to that new Jurassic Park movie, to that new Marvel movie. When you get to my age, it doesn't matter the title. It just seems like everything's a revival. So it's the new Jurassic Park movie, the new Marvel movie. Everyone's talking about it. Those are PG-13 movies. And the other parent wanted to be the cool parent and brought the kids to those movies. And when you heard about it, it activated you, right? And you wanted to say something. You wanted to lay into that spouse. But if you're in a divorce and things aren't settled, and if things are going to go south, you got to be very careful with risk management, with how things look. And if you just react when you're in that state without pausing, without taking time to reflect, that in the moment text, email, call, voicemail, whatever you do, it may not look good later on. So my core message to you is something's going to happen. Could be as simple as just not following this movie, plan we have. and it is really upsetting to you because of your history and the context. And instead of just doing something in that moment, what I want you to do is pause. That's what I want you to do. Can you pause? And what I'm trying to do is get that architect side of you, the wiser side of you to react, or to not to react, to think about what to do, to plan. And can that be done? So my power phrase for you is pausing isn't passive. It's protective. It's protective of you in your divorce because you don't want to be ashamed in front of the court if you said something that was inappropriate. It's also protective of the co-parenting relationship and protective of the children. Now, if this is chronic, if this happens all the time, there's ways you can deal with this, right? But that's not the point of this episode. The point of this episode is I want to keep you in a neutral state before the court. Because if you have open issues in your divorce, like you haven't resolved the custody, and then you act out, even though it might be justified, you're going to look bad. And the judge is only human. And if they think you're exercising poor judgment, the judge might hurt you if the other side's being halfway reasonable. And everyone differs on PG-13 movies. It doesn't mean you can't bring a child to the movie. It's just you can't bring it without an adult. So the judge might not agree with you, even though that's what the family policy was. See, it gets complicated. So here's my action step. Next time something happens that's going to be provoking, it could be a violation of a movie policy, it could be something else. Pause. Think about what I'm telling you. Think about that power phrase. Think about pausing isn't passive, it's protective. And say that. Put your feet on the ground. Take a breath. Just relax. And take that pause. I know this is hard. Thanks for doing this. This is hard work. But if you do this hard work now, it's like, lifting the heavy weights now, there's going to be a payoff at the end. That's my hope here. My hope is to get you sooner to step 3, getting your life back in a way you want. I know you can do it. I know it's hard, but I believe in you. I'm Corey Shapiro. Thanks for listening.
This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.